Hello, friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to understand how are we going to better our business English? How should we actually better our business English? How should we elevate our business English? Well, when we talk about English that needs to be used in professional environment, okay, there are many things that are needed. And one of the things that is actually needed to improve, to better your professional English, your business English is phrasal verbs. You just can't do away with phrasal verbs. Okay, so today let's understand, let's learn, and let's infuse these 10 phrasal verbs, okay, in our daily English and let's better it. Okay, so let's get started. The first phrasal verb is abide by. What do you mean by abide by? When I say the meaning of abide by means to respect a decision, okay, to obey a decision or to obey a law or a rule or a protocol. Okay, so this is what we mean by abide by. Now let's quickly check how are we going to use this in our sentence. Okay, so I'm really sad that you did not abide by the rules of the company, which means you did not respect the rules of the company, you did not obey the rules of the company. Okay, let's look at the sentence that I have it on the screen. To protect your job, you must abide by the rules of your company. So if you really want to protect your job, you have to make sure that your job is safe. Make sure that you respect the rules of the company. Make sure that you obey the rules of the company. That's what we mean by abide by. So abide by is also used in legal English. Okay, so make sure that you use this word, this phrasal verb abide by. Yeah. Let's now, if you do not know what is a phrasal verb, I have made videos on that as well. Okay, so you can check those videos. What is a phrasal verb? And I will be putting that in the description. So don't you worry. Okay, so abide by, friends. I hope this is clear. Yeah. Now, the next one is account for. Okay, this is also something which is rampantly used in your professional English and your business English. Okay, account for means to explain or to give a reason. Okay, so yeah, so let's see the example sentence. Kindly account for the time you were out of office, which means kindly explain or give the reason, for the time that you were out of the office, for the duration that why were you out of the office. Okay, so account for, friends. Account for means to explain or give a reason. Yeah, let's start using this right from today. Okay, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you comment on every phrasal verb? Why don't you create sentence on every phrasal verb and put it in the comments? And I would love to check it. Yeah. Okay. Let's come to the third one. The third one, add up. Add up means to make sense or to seem reasonable. Okay. To make sense or to seem reasonable. Okay. Which means something which is not making sense. How will you use it in that context? You will say that, oh, this is not adding up to anything substantial, which means it is not giving me any reasonable or sensible conclusions or judgments. Okay, let's see the example sentence here. Your facts and figures in the report just don't add up. Okay, so when I say just don't add up, which means it's just not making any sense to me, or they just don't seem reasonable to me. Yes, friends? Yeah. Let's come to the next one, advise against. Okay. Now, please note the spelling of advise. We have S here and we do not have a C here. S is a verb and C is a noun. Okay. So make sure that you use the S one. Okay. That's the verb. So I'm talking about advise against, which means I'm talking about the verb advise over here. Advise against means to recommend not doing something. Against means not doing something. Okay, so if I want to tell you, you should not be doing something. If I want to give you an advice that please don't, do this, I can use this phrasal verb advise against. So I can say I advise against walking alone in the neighborhood. Okay, so advise against. Next one, agree with. Okay, now this is the most simplest and the most highly frequent usage of this phrasal verb is, that, and that's agree with. So that's the phrasal verb which is highly used. The frequency is very high. I'm sure you know this. To agree with, which means to have the same opinion as someone else. So I agree with your decisions, or I do not agree with your decisions, whatever you have to say. Okay, so agree with, I'm sure you know this. Appeal to. Appeal to means to plead or to make request. So when I'm talking about appeal to, especially in professional English or in legal English, it means to plead or to make request. So I appeal the court to reconsider the decision. Okay. So that's what the example sentence is all about. He appealed to the court to change the decision, to reconsider the decision. Appeal to. However, this phrasal verb appeal to also means to be attractive or interesting. Okay, vacation to Switzerland appeals to me. Seems to be very attractive and interesting. Or a vacation to Dubai doesn't really appeal to me, which means it doesn't really sound very interesting or attractive to me. Okay, so please make sure that you know the different usage of the meaning of this phrasal verb appeal to. Appeal to also means to make a request, and appeal to also means that something that you consider as very attractive and interesting. Okay, friends? Do without. Do without means to manage, without something. To manage without something. Okay, so which means I did not get my monthly salary. Okay, so I will have to do without shopping, which means I will have to manage without shopping this month. Yeah, so do without. Draw up. Draw up means to write a contract, to make a contract, to get in a contract, okay, to write an agreement, to write a document, anything. Okay, so I drew up a contract, I drew up a memo, I drew up an agreement. Okay, I drew up this document, which means I wrote this document, I made this document, I made this agreement. Okay, so let's see how it is used in the sentence. There's a typo error. He drew up a contract and had me sign in. Okay. So he was the one who drew up the contract and I was the one who signed the contract. Yes. Figure out. I'm sure this is also something that you must be familiar with. So make sure that you use it in your day-to-day English. Figure out means to understand or to find an answer to something. Okay, so let me figure out how can we increase the sales of this particular product. Okay, which means let me find an answer to this question, or let me find a solution to this problem, or let me understand. Yeah, figure out. And that's about it. So these were the 10 phrasal verbs that make sure that you use it in your day-to-day English, especially in your professional circle, in your work circle. Okay, and level up your English quotient. And if you really want to learn, such similar content wherein you want your English to be rich with different vocabularies, with different phrasal verbs, with different idiomatic expressions, and of course, with a very strong hold on applied aspects of grammar, why don't you join my paid community? Okay, the link is in the description box. If you are really willing to be a part of my community, wherein people are actually nurturing their English quotient by making sure that they have a good wealth of vocabulary. Okay, so this is if you are really keen that if you are looking to be a part of this kind of education, this kind of training, then why don't you click on that link which is given in the description box, which is for free class. And every Saturday, Sunday, I make sure that I conduct a free masterclass, okay, and help people understand how can they actually elevate their English quotient. Okay, so if this interests you, make sure that you see me in the masterclass and we can take this forward. Okay, friends, so far so much on this video. I will definitely get something more valuable, more insightful for you, so that can help you improve your English language next time, and I will keep doing it. Thank you so much and goodbye.